Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of week 1. In this lesson, we are going to look at variables and comments in JavaScript. My name is Mildred. In the last lesson, we looked at the basic syntax of JavaScript and we wrote a code that we can use to output to an HTML element. Let's say we want to leave a note here so that other developers will know what exactly this code is doing. We write comments to leave notes and also to temporarily exempt a block of code or a line of code from execution. We can write a single line comment using // like this, and I can put an explanation here. This does not interrupt the program and is not executed. So when you run this file, this is seen as a comment. So let's say this is a single line comment. So once the line ends, the comment ends. When you start typing now, it's assumed that what you're typing is JavaScript. If I want to comment this using // if I want to write a multi-line comment and I want this to span multiple lines, I'll put a / and asterisk, then I can continue over several lines and end with an asterisk and a /. I can write whole notes and authors and information and whatever it is I want to write there has a comment. We can put the comment anywhere, even at the end of a code, to leave a description in between the code. So comments are written anywhere. You just have to remember the syntax that a single line comment is written with // a multi-line comment with a / and an asterisk, and closes with an asterisk and / in reverse order of how it is open. So we have something called variables, and variables are like containers that you use to store values. Let's say you have an empty can or empty bucket, and sometimes you put water in the bucket, sometimes you put other things in the bucket. Maybe you start storing toys in that bucket and stuff. So whatever you put in the bucket is the value. So that bucket is like a variable that holds things that can change. So you can decide that you have a whole suitcase and today you want to put all your clothes, and then maybe you're traveling, you want to change that from clothes to shoes, and so the values keep changing. In JavaScript, we use 3 different keywords to declare a variable. We have the const keyword written, I'm going to exempt this one now. Const keyword written const like this, and then you assign a value. Let's say we want to store an array, so x is equal to something. We have the var keyword, which is used to support other browsers, and this has global scope. And then we have the let keyword that we use to declare all variables that cannot be declared with a const. So const is not like a constant, but it's more like things that should not change, like an object, an array, and then we use let for every other thing. Alright, so you want to avoid using var as much as possible and use modern day syntax of let. Now, when we declare variables, we have rules for declaring the variables. The name of the variable must be unique. While we cannot start with a number, it can contain numbers. So whether you use a letter, an underscore, or a $sign, you can start a variable name like that, but not with a number. While in between, you can have numbers. Alright, so the first character must be a letter, an underscore, a $sign. The variable names are case sensitive. So when you write with uppercase, it's going to be a different variable from when you write it with a lowercase. And then we have reserved keyword. Like this let is a reserved word. It cannot be a name of a variable. Anything that has special meaning in JavaScript cannot be the name of a variable. Let's say we want to store numbers 5 and 7 for later use. So we'll say we want x to be the container that holds the number 5. Remember that we terminate with a semicolon, and we'll say let y be equal to 7. So x and y are now variable names that can be used throughout this page, and they store values of 5 and 7. So let's say we want to output like document or get element by ID. We want to use the p ID now. So the ID here is output. So let's say document.get element by ID output dot inner HTML is equal to, we want to just write the sum x and y is, we want to put the sum of x and y. Let's use the +. Just don't bother about the syntax for now. We're going to look at it shortly. X plus y. Okay, so it will add x and y, and we want to see 12 outputted here. So we want to have the heading, and then we have the text, the sum of x and y is, and then we want it computed on the web page like this. So we have seen how we declare variable and what a variable is used for. So something you can take note of is that the equal sign is an assignment operator in JavaScript. We use it to assign a value to a variable. We use the plus sign both as an arithmetic operator, as you can see here, to add two numbers, and we use it to concatenate strings and anything number or string and string. So we added plus here to add this computation on the same line, and you can see that we have is, and it appended the 12 there because we use the plus to concatenate, and we also use it as an arithmetic operator. So when we declare variables like this, sometimes we have things like functions, a block of code. We declare the variable inside a block of code. This variable declared like this outside any block has global scope, and when we declare it inside a curly brace, then it's local to that scope. We'll look at scope as we go along. All the time you want to declare the variable before they are used. So once you use the let keyword to declare a variable, you cannot redeclare this variable within the same scope. But we know that var allowed us to do that in previous versions. Let will not allow us to do that. But the modern way of writing your variables is to use let for everything that should not be declared with a const. Okay, so we typically use const to declare things like objects, arrays, and functions and the likes, and then we use this for every other thing that we're not declaring with the const keyword. So we have different data types. As you can see, we have numbers. Number can have decimal points or whole numbers, and you can see that we don't quote numbers. But whenever I want to write something that is not a number, you see I put a quote. For instance, let's say first name, and I put equal to write my name, I'll put in single or double quotes. This is called a string. Anything you quote in single or double quotes is called a string. Anything that is like arrays, dates, sets, they are all called objects. Then all of these digits are called number data type. Then we have boolean. Anything that results in true or false is a boolean. Then we have big int that stores integers, but any integer that is too large. Okay. Then we have also null, is something that has no value assigned. We have undefined also. So these are the data types, and as we go along and as we use them, you will understand the difference. So this is where we end this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to look at operators and assignments. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.